Welcome back to the Blue Review. The Big CY back in the building after 2 days away in Omaha. Still in Omaha right now, I believe. But the Blue Review is presented by Los Angeles International Airport, where changes are arriving daily to help reduce traffic, save travelers time, and transform the travel experience. First of all, let's just get to what's going on in Omaha. How is it at the College Baseball World Series?
So for those of you who don't know, the Men's College World Series happens in Omaha, Nebraska every year. It used to be at a place called Rosenblatt Stadium, which was the old AAA park here. It is now at Charles Schwab Field, aka the Chuck. Different experience, but it's still fun. You know, I love baseball on all levels, and the college game is a little different than the big league game, but LSU wake tonight to see who goes to the championship round to face Florida, who won on a hell of a catch yesterday in the first game of the day. It's always a fun thing. Tournament baseball is just different than everything else. So I'm having a blast out here. And I see you guys have been holding it down out there in SoCal. Shout out to Travis.
Yeah, Travis Rogers has been great. We did the last two Blue Reviews. We went to the game last night. So we saw Shohei pitch. I was so excited to see Shohei Ohtani pitch. I've never even seen him hit. Like, we went to a game. You and I went to a game after we had the Salida margaritas and tacos and whatever the place is called. We went there and we went to the game, but we were so far into the deep of the outfield that we couldn't see him. So like he was an ant to me on the plate. So I didn't actually see him. I actually got to see him close up last night. I saw him pitch. I saw him hit. He didn't really hit. But the pitching, unbelievable stuff. He went 7 innings, had 4 hits, 12 strikeouts, gave up a 1 jack to Freddie Freeman, and that was it. I mean, the guy is special. So it was really fun to watch him. But anyways, the Dodgers came away with a victory on a bullpen game.
Now, I'll say this. I did not watch all of this game, fairly enough. I'm obviously doing other things. I was following this game, though, as in it was on where I was. And number one, I remember thinking, damn, they're actually going to do this twice in a row. Couple of shutouts against the Halos separately. The fact that Shohei gives up 1 run and the Angels still lose in shutout fashion is the story of his career in Anaheim. But that's another story. But the one thing that really, really, frankly, made me laugh was when Mike Trout got hit in the jaw with a baseball and he was trying to catch. And I was just like, oh, that does not look good. Going for the snag, did not get it. Look, I love the Angels, but last night was just such a microcosm of everything that this last 5 years has been for this squad. And alas, the Dodgers came out on top. More importantly, though, let's break down, how did you and Trav get after it at the ballpark? What was the situation? What were the libations? What were we doing?
So we were on what would be the Loge level at Dodger Stadium. I don't know what's called at Angel Stadium, but I'm guessing it's Loge also. But we were in that 300 level, and we were dead even. So on the left, on the third base side, dead even with the pitcher, Loge level. They were the best seats I've sat in a long time. It was so nice. I really loved it. We had a couple beers, we had a couple brats. It was just like your typical day at the ballpark. I got a pretzel, everything that you would kind of hope for. I'll tell you this, though. The stadium itself, it's the 4th oldest stadium in all of baseball. I don't know if you knew that or not. You might have. Yeah. So, but it just doesn't have much to it that you're like, this is really cool. Like, Dodger Stadium has the history, right? It has everything that when you go there and they're really trying to make it much nicer. They did a lot to that, to the outfield and behind the outfield for all the food and everything.
Situation is glorious. Yep.
Really nice. And like, it just has this feeling. You sit down at Dodger Stadium, you go like, I'm at Dodger Stadium. Look at all these retired numbers. Look what's going on. Like, you have the Hollywood sign behind you, everything. It just has this great feel to it. And you walk into Angel Stadium and you're like, all right, so it's ballpark. It's got a cool little water
feature. It feels like a ride at Disney that's been decommissioned. That's what it feels like. But, you know, I get it. It is what it is. But the question is, was T-Raj breaking down pitching mechanics the entire time you guys were watching Ohtani? As we know, T-Raj was a college pitcher. I'm at the College World Series. He never played in this, but the connectivity is there. Were you listening to Chalk Talk all day from Mr. Rogers?
I mean, this was as nerdy of a baseball conversation going back and forth. We were going like deep into pitch counts and how much they actually matter and what they don't. And it was a very nerdy baseball conversation, which I absolutely loved. We're gonna do it again at some point. Nice. Our idea is, if Shohei pitches, let's just go.
We're there.
We can play the Royals, and let's just go see Shohei continue to pitch. I think it's just fun. So yeah, no, it was a great day. Had a lot of fun. I'm just most impressed with this Dodger team that they've had a bullpen game yesterday, and everybody got through. They didn't even have to go to Michael Grove at any point. Gratterall got through. Then it was like Vezia actually had a really, really big strikeout on Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout. Like that's a big deal for him. Maybe something that he could actually, kind of build on. And the fact that the bullpen shut out a team that was playing good baseball, was a very big positive for me.
Will Smith had a nice play at the plate, but also, I mean, we got to talk about
two in a row. That's two at.
Yeah, we got to talk about what matters here, Greg. Still in third place for the Dodgers. We're at this point of the season where the wins are required effectively in order to get into the situation. Now, second place, okay. Third place, a little tough. You weren't here for when I talked about the Giants sweep, which I thought was the bottoming out of the situation. I don't want to rain on the parade, but I'm still looking at the standings. How do you feel about what's coming up in terms of the Dodgers' ability to make up ground in the division?
So this is a little bit of an easier month, at least for the Dodgers. I mean, they have Houston coming up this weekend. That's going to be tough. Houston's always very difficult, never easy. But the fact is, after that, it does get a little bit easier. They don't have any of those big time games. You're not playing the Padres. You're not playing the Diamondbacks. You're not playing the Mets. You're not playing any of the big teams that are coming out here. So they have a chance to make up this ground. It's not very much. It's either 3.5 or 4.5 that they're out of first right now. Yeah, 3.5 out of first. So third place and first place is so tightly. You can make that up in a week.
In a series,
You can make it up in a series. You can make it up in a week. You can make it up. You just need the Diamondbacks to lose a couple games, which they're scuffling a little bit here and there. I think they won last night. They did, but they lost the night before. So they're not on some massive tear anymore. They've been losing games. The Giants have been on the biggest tear. Obviously, they swept the Cardinals and the Dodgers back to back. That's a pretty strong week from them.
Not as good as it gets. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what they did last night. I know they beat the Padres the night before. I don't know what they did last night. But either way, go ahead and take a check. But
I was just going to say, I mean, listen, I think that we're getting close to what we'll just call the dog days, and the dog days.
June gloom, man.
Where you win championships, as far as I'm concerned. They've got to get it in gear. And I feel that coming off of the Giants, couple local series, so to speak, getting a couple wins against the Halos is important, even though it's sort of like, oh, they're the Angels. We can make fun of them all we want. The wins still matter. And a couple shutouts, I think, is about as good for morale as anything you're going to get from the squad at this point in June.
Yeah. So, I mean, June, we hit our June gloom. I don't think they're going to go 12-18 again over the next 30. Okay. I think it'll be flipped. I mean, I can see 18-12. I can see a lot of, but I don't think they're going to do the same type of thing. And they'll be right back in towards the top or fighting for the top, going through into the trade deadline. That's when it all matters.
By the way, if you've never been to Omaha and you claim to like baseball, it's a great time. Personal recommendation from the Big CY.
All right, that'll do it for Blue Review. Thank you, LAX, and we'll see you tomorrow.